Okay, let's get started. We're going to start today in a seated position, ideally kneeling with your glutes resting on your heels. If that isn't comfortable for you or puts a little too much pressure on your knees, sometimes it helps to take a block or a blanket and put it underneath your sit bones. That helps take the pressure off your knees, and you can put it on any height that feels good to you. If that doesn't work, feel free to sit in a cross-legged position or any other seated position that's comfortable. But I would recommend that if you have a block, just keep it handy for a couple of the poses we'll be doing today. If you don't have a block, maybe a folded blanket would be nice to have. So come to your seated position, whatever you choose. Let your shoulders drop down, lengthen your spine, lengthen your neck. And we'll just take a few breaths together to start to find our breath, deepen our breath, and even it out so our inhales are the same length as our exhales. So let's just take one together first. Exhale all your air out, empty your lungs. And then inhale through your nose, fill your lungs, fill your belly, deep breath. And then open your mouth and let it all out. Let's do another one like that with a little movement. Take your arms out to the sides as you inhale. Breathe deeply, fill your lungs, fill it all the way to your belly. Touch your hands above your head. Open your mouth, exhale. Good. Again, this time with your mouth closed. Inhale through your nose. Breathe deeply. Spread your fingers wide. Stretch up. Exhale, mouth closed. All the way out. Empty your lungs. Again, inhale through your nose. Stretch your arms out. Feel every bit of this motion. Stretch up to the sky. And as you exhale, take your right hand down to the mat. Stretch your left hand over your head. Press your right hand into the mat and get a nice body stretch on the left side. Good. Inhale back up. Stretch up to the sky. And exhale your left hand over to the mat, reaching over your ear with your right arm. Just starting to stretch out here. And one more. Good. Inhale all the way up. And exhale it all out through your nose. Starting to feel that whispering sound at the back of your throat, that ujjayi or ocean sound at the back of your throat as you exhale. And we'll come into tabletop position. So plant your hands on the mat, come onto your hands and knees, and just take a moment to check your alignment. Make sure your shoulders are right over your wrists and your hips are right over your knees. And we're just going to take a couple of cat-cows to warm up our spines. So starting with an inhale and looking up, lift your tailbone, let your belly drop down. This is cow. And on your exhale, drop your chin to your chest, curve your back, drop your tailbone down. Really lift the middle of your back up to the sky. Inhale, let your belly drop, lift your gaze, lift your chin. Pull your shoulders back a little bit. Exhale, drop your head down, drop your tailbone. Center of your back goes up. And one more time, inhale, lift your head, lift your tailbone. Starting to warm up your spine. Exhale, come back to neutral. Take a little wrist stretch here while we're in tabletop. So turn your hands around so that your fingertips are facing your knees, or just as far as they'll go. It's totally fine to have them out to the sides, as far as you feel like you get a good stretch. And then just really gently move your hips back, keeping the heels of your hands, the whole palm of your hand on the mat. And just go as far as you need to feel a good stretch in your wrists. And then come back forward. And do that one more time. Just rock back for a gentle wrist stretch here. Good. And then turn your hands back around so your fingertips are facing forward. Curl your toes under and lift your hips. We're going to come into downward facing dog. And we'll take a moment here to stretch everything out in downward dog. So feel free to pedal one foot at a time, pressing one heel into the mat, bending the other leg, starting to warm up the back of your legs. Really feel your palms and your fingertips and your knuckles pressing firmly into your mat. And use that energy that you press into the mat to lift your hips up to the sky, pull your navel into your spine, and make your torso and your spine as long as you can. In downward dog, it really doesn't matter if your knees are bent. It doesn't matter if your heels are touching the floor. Just let them go in the direction of the floor just as far as they want to go. Your body should be in an inverted V position here. Take your right foot and step it up between your hands for a lunge. Drop your left knee down to the floor, uncurl your toes. Plant your left hand into the mat and inhale your right arm up to the sky so you're twisting to the right. Just taking a really gentle stretch to the right. We'll be doing a lot of twists today, so use this just to start getting used to that feeling. Spread your fingers wide and just open up to the right. Good, and exhale, drop your right hand back down next to your foot. Bring both hands to your right knee and inhale, drop your shoulders down, lengthen your spine, lengthen the crown of your head up. And as you exhale, reach both hands back towards your back foot and open your chest up to the sky. Gaze is up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together in the back and try to open up across your collarbones. Good, and bring both hands back to frame your foot. Curl your back toes under and step back to downward dog. And again, just use the downward dog to stretch everything out. Move around however it feels good, just to start to get everything warmed up. And then as you inhale, step your left foot forward for a lunge on the other side. Drop your right knee down, uncurl your toes. Plant your right hand on the mat. Inhale, lift your left arm up to the sky and twist to the left. Again, being really gentle. Lifting your left hand up to the sky. And then plant your left hand back to a lunge. Bring both hands to your left knee. Inhale, lengthen your spine, drop your shoulders down. Let your hips drop down a little bit. And then as you exhale, send both hands back to stretch towards your back foot. Gaze is up, pull your shoulders back, open across your collarbones. Really open your heart up. And exhale, plant both hands back on the mat to frame your foot. Curl your back toes under and lift your hips back up to downward facing dog. Lift your hips high. Good, and we'll just slowly, step by step, walk our feet up to the top of your mat. Keep your head down. Sort of heel toe your feet about hip distance apart, keeping your feet parallel. We're going to come into ragdoll. So you can either just let both hands hang down with the backs of your hands resting on the mat, or you can grasp opposite elbows with your hands. Either way, bend your knees deeply and let your head and your shoulders and your elbows drop down. Let gravity pull everything down. Feel your weight in the soles of your feet. See where your weight is right now, and just shift your weight into your toes. Shift it back into your heels. See where your weight wants to sit. You can sway your upper body side to side a little bit if that feels good. Feel free to move your head around. And if you'd like to start to stretch your hamstrings a little bit, you can straighten your legs just a little bit until you feel a good stretch in the back of your legs, but keep letting your head and elbows drop down towards the floor. The crown of your head should be facing the floor. Good, and then place your hands on your waist and slowly come up to standing. Take your time here. Head comes up last. Great. We'll come to mountain pose at the top of our mat. So bring your feet together with your toes touching. Hands are at your sides, drop your shoulders down, and we'll take a sun salutation here to get a little more warmed up. So inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides, up overhead, palms touch, look up. Exhale, bow forward, drop your head down, bend your knees. Inhale, long spine, halfway lift, flatten your back out. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to high plank, shift forward, lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale, lift up to cobra, pull your shoulders back. Exhale, lift your hips to downward facing dog. Take one round of breath here in downward dog. Feel that ocean sound at the back of your throat. Lift your hips up high. As you exhale, lift up on your toes, bend your knees, look forward, and inhale, step or hop to the top of your mat to a halfway lift with a long spine. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up, palms touch. Exhale, back to mountain. Again, inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to a high plank, shift forward under your tippy toes, and lower down to a low plank. You can go all the way down to your belly, or come into an upward dog here as you inhale, pull your shoulders back, or cobra. Exhale, lift your hips high to downward facing dog, press into your palms. We'll take one round of breath. Make sure that the inside of your elbows are facing forward, so you're sort of spiraling your triceps towards your midline and letting your heels sink down towards the mat. As you exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands. And as you inhale, hop or step to the top of your mat with a long spine, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Look up at your hands. Exhale, back to mountain. We'll keep going with that, with just adding a little bit on here. So inhale again, sweep your arms out to the sides, up overhead, look up. Exhale, fold forward, drop your head all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, pull your shoulders back. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left foot back to a lunge. Inhale your arms up to a high lunge. Exhale, warrior two, spin your back heel down, open your arms up. Right knee is bent. Inhale, reverse your warrior, flip your right palm, lift it up to the sky, reach it up. Exhale, side angle, right elbow to right knee. Inhale, left arm goes over your ear for a long side body stretch. Gaze is up. Exhale, your left hand down to your foot, lift your left heel up. Inhale your right arm up for a twist to the right. And exhale your right hand back down to frame your foot to that lunge. Good, inhale, step your right foot back, lift your hips for downward dog. Take a breath here. Press into your hands, lift your sit bones up to the sky. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. And as you inhale, step lightly forward to a halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, back to mountain. One more time, inhale, sweep your arms out, stretch up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step your right foot back to a lunge. Inhale your arms up, high lunge, stretch it up. Exhale, warrior two, spin your back heel down. Left knee is bent. Inhale, reverse your warrior, flip your palm over and lift your left hand up to the sky. Exhale, side angle stretch, left knee to left elbow. Inhale your right arm over your ear, deepen the lunge as you stretch your right arm long. Exhale your right hand down to the floor, lift your back heel up. Inhale your left arm up to the sky, you're twisting to the left here. Reaching up. Exhale your left hand back down to a lunge. And inhale, step your left foot back, lift your hips high for downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Deepen your breathing. Find that even inhale, even exhale. And as you breathe out, bend your knees, look between your hands. Inhale, step or hop forward to a halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up, palms touch. Exhale, back to mountain. From here, step one foot back towards the back of your mat. It doesn't matter which foot, just so that you're facing the long end of your mat, that your toes are facing the long end of your mat and your feet are parallel, pretty wide apart, about 3 or 4 feet apart. We're gonna come into a wide leg stretch. So place your hands on your waist, drop your shoulders down, inhale, look up gently. And as you exhale, fold forward with a long spine all the way down. And as you come down, reach your hands down towards your mat and plant your hands between your feet with your fingers spread wide. Inhale one more time, lengthening your spine from your sit bones to the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, fold all the way down. So now the crown of your head is facing your mat. And we'll stay here for a few rounds of breath. So use this time to let your upper body really relax and become limp. You're just letting gravity pull your upper body down towards the mat. Keep your legs strong and engaged. Your kneecaps should be lifting. Your quads are really strong here. Good, and then take your left hand over to your right leg. Grasp the outside of your right ankle with your left hand. And then as you inhale, lift your right arm up to the sky. So you're twisting up, gaze is up at your right hand. And stay here, let your left shoulder drop down towards the mat a little bit as you twist. Good, and then exhale, both hands back down to that neutral position in the middle. And on your next inhale, reach over with your right hand to the outside of your left leg, reach your left hand up to the sky, twist to the left. And as you exhale, you can drop that right shoulder down towards the mat, deepening the twist a little bit. Good, and then reach both hands back down towards the mat for one last breath in this stretch. Letting your head drop down. Place your hands on your waist, and on your next inhale, use your core to come all the way back up with a long spine, all the way back up to standing. Great job. Step your foot back up to mountain pose at the top of your mat. Feet are together, hands are at your sides. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up, palms touch. Exhale, fold forward, let your head drop down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank and stay here in plank. Take a moment to find a really strong plank. So spread your fingers as wide as you can. Press your knuckles and your fingertips into your mat. Make sure your body is in one straight line. Lift the middle of your back up to the sky. And we're gonna take just a few push-ups here. We're gonna do 5 yogi push-ups. So feel free to drop your knees down if you're still working on your push-ups. But either way, you wanna shift your weight forward so your shoulders are actually in front of your hands. And we're gonna inhale As you exhale, lower down. It can just be halfway. That's totally fine. Inhale, push up. Exhale, lower down for 2. Halfway is fine. Inhale, push up. Exhale, 3. Inhale, up. You're getting stronger. Exhale, 4. Inhale, up. Exhale, 5. Inhale, up, and lower your body all the way down to the mat. So your belly is on the mat. Great job. Take your hands wide out to the sides, and you want to tent your hands here so just your fingertips are on the floor outside your mat. Hands are tented. And we're going to take a cobra here to reverse that back rounding we've been doing. So as you inhale, press into your fingertips and lift your whole torso up. Pull your shoulders back. Gaze starts to go up. And you should be lifting all the way down to your lower abdomen. Retracting your shoulders. Just enjoy that stretch. And exhale, slowly come all the way back down. And take a rest here. Feel free to put your head on your hands if you like. Good, and then plant your hands next to your chest, and we're gonna come back into plank. So find that strong plank again. And from here, we're gonna do some mountain climbers. Not typical for a yoga class, but they're so good for your core. So we're gonna do a few of those. We're gonna do a set of 10, and I'll just show you what that looks like. In plank, feel free to take a rest here and I'll show you. In plank, your upper body stays still, and you're just pulling your knees into your chest like this, pretty quickly. So starting together in plank, inhale, starting with your right knee into your chest. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, lower your knees down. Take a rest here. Feel free to take a quick child's pose. Take one breath. And we'll come back up to plank. We're gonna do oblique mountain climbers. So that's bringing your knee to your opposite elbow. So starting in plank, right knee to left elbow to start. Here we go. Inhale. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job. Drop your knees down. Take a breath in child's pose. These will get you so much stronger in a hurry. And we're gonna come back up and do one more set of 10 regular ones. So knee into your chest. So come up to plank. This is our last set, so make it a strong one. Body in a straight line. Inhale, and here we go with the right knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, strong core, 8, 9, and 10. Great job. Feel free to take your knees wide, touch your big toes together, and take a wide leg child's pose. Drop your forehead down to the mat. And enjoy a few breaths here. Let everything release. Let your breath go all the way down to your belly. When you're ready, lift your head up. Come up to tabletop. And to continue with our core work, we're going to do some dolphin push-ups, which if you haven't done that before, feel free to just take a rest and I'll show you what that looks like. So you're going to bring your forearms down to the mat. Your elbows should be shoulder width apart. You can check that by putting your hands on your elbows. And then you want to interlace your fingers and rest your interlaced hands together so your thumbs are facing up. We'll come into a dolphin downward dog. So toes are together and you lift your hips up. So your body is in a V, just like downward dog, except your forearms are on the floor. You might need to walk your toes up towards you a little bit. Drop your heels back down towards the mat. They probably won't touch. And your biceps should be right next to your ears, gaze is at your knees. So from here, to do a dolphin push-up, I'll just show you one before we get started. Starting with your biceps next to your ears, you come up on your toes and shift your weight forward so your chin goes in front of your hands. And then drop your heels back and lift your hips up. That's one. So join me here in dolphin downward dog. Find your positioning here. Your heels are dropped down as far as they can. Toes are together. Biceps are next to your ears. Gaze is at your knees. And we'll do 5 together. So inhale and exhale forward for 1. Chin goes in front of your hands. And forward for 2. Chin goes in front of your hands. Inhale, lift your hips up. Exhale for 3. Inhale, hips up. And 4, chin goes forward. Hips go up. And one more time, chin in front of your hands. And inhale your hips back up. Feel free to drop your knees down and take a rest in child's pose. Great job. And now that you have the feel of that, we're going to do 5 more. So come back into that position. Find your forearms, your elbows shoulder width apart. Interlace your fingers, thumbs are on top. Bring your toes together. Lift your hips up to the sky. You might need to walk your toes a little closer to you. And then drop your heels down. Lift your hips up a little higher so that your biceps are right next to your ears. Inhale. Here we go for 5 more. Exhale, push forward. Drop your hips down. Inhale, hips up. Exhale, forward, chin in front of your hands. Inhale, hips up. Exhale, forward, that's 3. Inhale, up. Exhale, forward, 4. Inhale, up, 1 more. Exhale, forward for 5. Inhale your hips up and drop your knees down. Drop your hips down for child's pose. Take a breath here. Let your breath go all the way down into your lower back. Good, and then slowly lift yourself back up. We're going to do one more core exercise here. This is going to be side plank. I just want to show you a few variations of side plank in case it's not a comfortable pose for you. So the standard side plank, if you start out in a regular plank, is to roll over onto one outside of one foot, stack the other foot on top, and lift up. For a more stable base, you can take that top foot and put it behind your front foot, and that makes it a little more steady. Or if you're still working up to that, you can take your front foot and put it on the mat right in front of your hips, and that's totally fine too. So any of those variations will work. So just pick the one that works for you. Come into a regular plank, shoulders over your wrists. Roll over onto the outer edge of your right foot. Bring your other foot into your side plank. Lift your left hand up to the sky. Inhale. Lift your hips. We're going to do 3 oblique twists here. So exhale, reach down with your left hand, tap the top of your right hand. Inhale your left arm back up. Exhale your hand down for 2. Inhale up. Exhale your hand down, tap. And that's 3. Come back to plank and drop your knees down to rest. These are not easy, and it's totally fine if you're a little bit shaky. The important thing is that you're getting the work done. We'll come over onto the left side. Plant your left hand into the mat. Roll over onto the outer edge of your left foot. Find your position with your right foot. Inhale your right arm up to the sky. Lift your hips. Feel really strong here. And inhaling up. Exhale, tap your hand with your right hand, lift up for 2. Inhale. Exhale, tap. Inhale up. And we'll do one more, reach down and tap. Inhale up. And exhale back to plank. Drop your knees down. Feel free to take a rest. Great job. When you're ready, plant your hands and we'll curl our toes under and lift your hips up to downward facing dog. Take a moment here to stretch out a little bit. Take a breath. And on your next inhale, lift your right foot up to the sky for 3-legged dog. Stretch it long. And then exhale, step your foot all the way through to a lunge. Drop your left knee down, uncurl your toes. Bring your hands to prayer position at chest center. We're going to take a pretty deep twist here. So take your left elbow, hook it around your right knee. Take this slow and use your hands and your elbow to revolve your torso around to the right. Press into your left hand with your right hand. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. And gaze should be over your right shoulder. And that twist should start all the way in your lower abdomen. Twisting around. Good, gently release the twist. Plant your hands on either side of your foot. Curl your toes under. Lift your back knee up for a lunge. And shift your weight into your front foot. Keep your fingertips on the mat. We're going to come into just a little standing splits here. So fingertips are on the mat. Lift your back foot up as you let your head drop down. So you're just like a fulcrum, lifting your foot, dropping your head. Just for a little balance work here, feel that stretch in the back of your right leg. And use your fingers for balance. Lift that back foot a little bit higher. Good, and on your next exhale, drop your foot back down to the lunge. Plant your hands, inhale your right foot back and lift your hips up to downward facing dog. Good, inhale your left foot up to the sky, 3-legged dog, stretch it long. Exhale, pull your knee in, step all the way through for a lunge. Drop your back knee down, uncurl your toes. Bring your hands to heart center in prayer. We'll take the twist to the other side. So take your time with this. Take your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. And use your elbow to revolve your torso around to the left. Take your time pressing your palms together. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears and gaze over your left shoulder. Really enjoy that twist. And gently release the twist. Drop your hands back down on either side of your foot. And lift your back knee up. Shift your weight into your left foot. And we'll come into that standing splits on this side. So just shift forward. Keep your fingertips on the mat. And slowly drop your head down as you lift your right foot up to the sky. Just go as far as it's comfortable for you. Playing with your balance. Feel your weight moving around in that planted foot. Lift your back foot just a little bit higher. Drop your head down a little bit lower. And on your next exhale, drop your back foot down to a lunge. Plant your hands and step back to downward dog. Good, press into your hands, lift your hips high. Get one last stretch through your side ribs, through your armpits. And then bend your knees, look forward. We're gonna come into a seated position. So Hop forward, cross your ankles, and drop your glutes down to the mat. Keeping your knees bent, plant your feet flat on the mat, about hip width apart. And we're going to come into reverse tabletop here. So take your hands behind you. Palms are flat. Fingertips are facing your hips. And before you lift your hips up, pull your shoulders back as far as you can and really push your chest out. Gaze is up at the sky. And with your shoulders pulled back, inhale and lift your hips up as high as you can. Squeeze your glutes. You want your abdomen to be as flat as possible here. So we're going to take a breath here. Let your head drop back if that's comfortable. Pull your shoulders back. Keep your knees parallel. And lift your hips a little bit higher. Squeeze your glutes. Good, and exhale, drop your hips back down to the mat. Stretch your legs out long in front of you, flex your toes. Inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides, all the way up overhead. Stretch your spine long. And exhale, reach forward for your feet or your ankles. Grasp them with a C grip. Inhale, lengthen your spine up. And exhale, fold over your legs and just let everything go here. Let your head go. No need to force this or try to stretch it too hard. Just let this be a really gentle, easy stretch. Good, and then we'll take reverse tabletop one more time. So bring your feet back to the mat with your knees hip width apart. Place your palms flat behind you, fingertips facing your hips. Pull your shoulders back, squeeze them tight in the back, open your chest up, look up. And as you inhale, lift your hips up to the sky, drop your head back if it's comfortable. And we'll take a round of breath here as you squeeze your glutes to lift your hips a little bit higher. A little bit higher. And exhale, drop your hips back down. Great job. Stretch your left foot out long. Bring the sole of your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. And we'll take another forward fold here. So take your left fingertips out to the floor next to you. Inhale your right arm up to the sky, stretch it long. And as you exhale, reach across your leg to the outside of your left foot or ankle. And then take your left hand to the inside of your foot, so your arms are crossed. Inhale, lengthen from your sit bones to the crown of your head. Exhale, fold over your leg, letting your elbows wing out to the sides. Let your right knee fall down towards the mat. Let your head drop down. Starting to cool things down here. Take one more breath, stretching it out. Good, and then gently come back up to seated. You're going to take a seated twist here. So take your left foot and cross it all the way over to the other side of your right knee, if that's comfortable. So your right heel is tucked under your left hip. We're going to be twisting to the right. So place your right hand behind you. Sorry, we're going to be twisting to the left. Place your left hand behind you. Squeeze your knee in towards your chest with your right arm. Gaze is over your left shoulder, twisting your entire spine here. And if that feels good, feel free to take your elbow to the outside of your knee and use that leverage to revolve your torso around a little more. Gazing over your left shoulder, deep twist. Good, and release. Stretch your right foot out long, flex your toes. Take your left foot, bend your knee. The sole of your left foot should be touching the inside of your right thigh. Right fingertips to the floor. Inhale your left arm up, reach it long, and then exhale, reach to the outside of your right foot or your right ankle. Take your right hand, cross it over to the other side of your foot. Inhale, lengthen your spine, drop your shoulders down. Crown is lengthening up. And exhale, fold your entire torso over your leg. Dropping your head down, let your left knee drop down towards the mat.
And take a round of breath here. Lengthening your spine as you inhale. Deepening the stretch as you exhale.
Go ahead and slowly come back up. We'll take the twist the other way. So keeping your left knee bent, take your right foot all the way over your left knee. And this time we'll be twisting around to the right. So adjust yourself so both sit bones are on the mat. Place your right hand behind you, squeeze your knee into your chest, and gaze over your right shoulder, twisting to the right. And again, you can stay right here if that gives you a good twist. Or if you want a little more leverage, take your elbow to the outside of your knee and revolve your torso around a little bit more. This is a great massage for all those abdominal muscles you worked so hard for this class. Good, and release the twist. Bring your feet back out in front of you. And we're gonna come down into a lying down position. Before you lie down, grab your block if you have one, and just set it next to you. We'll be using that. It's not critical, but if you have one, just have it within arm's reach. And then lay all the way back on your back. We're gonna start with a bridge. So bend your knees and bring your heels really close to your glutes so that you can touch your heels with your fingertips. And just lay back and relax for a moment. Before you start to lift your hips up, I want you to press your lumbar spine into the mat. So you're eliminating that lumbar space that you usually have. There should be no daylight underneath your back, your lower back right now. And press that lower back so much that your pelvis starts to tip up a little bit. And as it tips up, just follow that and lift your hips just a little bit. And then a little bit more, lift your hips up, keeping your knees parallel. Your middle back should be coming off the floor. Lifting up to bridge. You can pause and work your shoulders, your upper arms underneath you, and even clasp your hands behind you if that's comfortable, and use that leverage to lift your upper back off the floor. So pressing into your feet, knees are parallel, squeeze your glutes, sort of like tabletop. Lifting all the way through your upper back so you get a really nice curve through your entire spine. Lift your hips a little bit higher. And release, let your arms come out and lower your back and your hips all the way down. Good, we'll do that again, but this time with a block for support. So take your block, lift your hips and place your block underneath your sacrum, so that really lowest part of your spine. And you can put it on whichever height feels good. So you can do it on the medium height, wide across your hips. You can even do it on the highest one. Just make sure you find a spot that supports you. And then once you find a good position, let your hands just relax out, palms up to the sky. Make sure your knees are still parallel. Let your shoulders drop back into the mat. Relax your belly. And just let the block support your weight. No effort is needed here. Breathing into your belly. Good, and lift your hips a little bit. So take that block out and pull your knees into your chest. Feel free to roll around on your lower back, rock from side to side to get a little lower back massage here. And then drop your feet back down, knees are bent. Take your right ankle on top of your left knee. We're gonna do a reclined pigeon here. So your left foot is flat on the floor, right ankle is on your left knee. And then pull your left knee in. Reach your hands to wherever they'll reach, so to your shin or the back of your thigh. Drop your head back and pull your left knee into your chest. Really gently let your right knee open up a little bit. And this is a gentler version of pigeon pose with the floor supporting your back. Squeeze in just a little bit more to deepen the stretch. And then release your left foot back to the floor. Place your right foot on the floor. Bring your left ankle to your right knee. opening your left knee out. And then bring your right knee in towards your chest, reaching your hands around your leg wherever it's comfortable, under your knee or on the back of your thigh. Drop your head back and take your time to pull that knee in towards your chest as your left knee gently opens up a little bit. Breathing deeply into your belly. Let your shoulders relax. Good, and then release. You can plant both feet flat on the floor. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees open out for a reclined goddess or a reclined butterfly pose. You can bring your hands overhead if that feels good. Grasp opposite elbows. Or if that's a little too much of a stretch, you can take your arms out to a T, or even just place your hands on your belly. Whatever feels good with your arms here is totally fine. Let your shoulders drop back. Feel free to close your eyes. And let gravity just help your knees drop down towards the mat. Use your hands on the outside of your thighs to help bring your knees back together. Stretch your right leg out long. Take your right hand to your left knee and we'll take a twist over to the right. So bring your left knee across your body all the way to the other side of your body. Stretch your left hand out to the side. Feel free to follow your left hand with your gaze. Twisting your knee to the right and gazing to the left. Try to let your left shoulder just drop back a little bit towards the mat. And as you inhale, hug both knees back into your chest and stretch your left foot out long. Take your right knee across your body with your left hand. Drop it all the way down, twisting to the left. Reach your right arm out to the right. Gaze at your right hand and relax into this twist. And play with your arm position on the right. Sometimes it helps to put your palm flat on the floor, or even try a cactus arm to help that shoulder drop down. Breathing into your belly. And bring both knees back into your chest for one final squeeze. Squeeze your knees tight into your chest. And then release your legs. Take your time to come into our final relaxation, Shavasana. Let your legs be as wide as your mat. Let your feet flop open. Let your hands relax out to the sides with your palms facing up. And just take a moment to find a comfortable position that you can relax in. No need to control your breath. No need to control anything. Your only job right now is to let your body sink into the floor. Let every muscle that you worked so hard just relax and release. Let your eyelids relax. Let your eyes fall back into their sockets. Let your jaw and your tongue relax. Feel your shoulders dropping back towards the mat. Look for any tension that you might have in your lower back or your hips or your thighs and let that go. Relax your hands and your feet, your knees and your ankles. And we'll just take another minute in silence here to completely relax. Start to bring a little bit of movement back into your body, starting with your fingers and toes. Move around however it feels good to you. You can take a long body stretch if you like. Stretch your arms over your head. And feel free to pull your knees into your chest one last time, and then roll over onto your side and really slowly come up to a seated position. Take your time. Bring your hands to heart center. Keep your eyes closed. We'll take one last deep breath together to seal our practice. So let your shoulders drop down. Push all the air out of your lungs. Empty your lungs out. And inhale, fill your lungs up. Breathe all the way down to your belly. Lengthen your spine. And exhale, bow your head forward with gratitude for what your body was able to do today. Namaste.